Welcome everyone to more low-level IT development here live on our channel. Today is a continuation with Rust and Cargo. Of course, I continued already further. I made some progress, but now I'm again reaching a point where it's like, seriously, what the heck? So as per yesterday, and welcome everyone, Rust and Cargo. So the summary still is that this Rust and Cargo stuff, like with nothing in 25 years, and I've done all of AutoConf and Make and Linux kernel and Firefox and OpenOffice, LibreOffice, even tried to build Chromium. Nothing wasted my life and time as much as this supermassive black hole that is Rust and Cargo and Rust. See that basically what is the issue is that, like, sure, it's so tightly integrated stuff that if something doesn't work, you spend like hour after hour dissecting, debugging, and guru meditating through all this nonsense. So I found, so yesterday we patched some stuff, this bloody crossbeam that has super low quality, hard-coded list of stuff where it doesn't have atomic, all like previous videos yesterday, how it should not be implemented in my opinion. There should be more generic maximum atomic sizes and stuff. But anyway, so I figured most of the stuff I can even get away with disabling all the tools because I don't want Rust Analyzer and Rust Format and stuff. That only because the problem is also, like previous videos of all the many micro dependencies, right? It's building 200 things and multiple times. And now I found, so even the freaking compiler. So now I have it probably 98% working, but obviously the last 2% so also needs to be done, and probably also at times the most annoying. So I still need to figure how to, because that's also the thing, right? They have here rendered, they ship in the Rust release tarball, they ship here rendered even quite some crates. 582 freaking, I mean, many are duplicates because or triplicates, I mean, duplicates, triplicates. It's like you write Sinn. I don't quite get what, even after working years with this nonsense that some people praise and like the best invention since sliced bread, but pro tip, and by the way, my opinion, sliced bread is not even the best invention. So they have here this rendered crates, but I'm not even sure for what they use it, because most of the stuff, unless there is some enable rendered whatever stuff, but it's like, yeah, so they have here 582 triplicates at times, rendered crates that are mostly not used because we patched those, right, with this bloody atomic lists of which 32-bit support, CPU supports that and stuff, and disabled all the tools because that still didn't work all the way, and the Rust compiler of all things still has this crossbeam of all amazing naming things dependency. So let's see what happens. I tried that with something else. So unfortunately, as far as I see that here, all right, I wanted to Google, do I still have that? All right, that was for this cargo patch. I had this earlier this morning, overriding dependencies. And the crazy thing is I tried with some other thing with Rust Analyzer or so, before I gave up on this and found a better solution of disabling this shit I don't need. Let's try what happens with Rust overriding this. So I'll just move the camera a little bit. I move it 2 millimeters down. I'm just not satisfied. Move it 2 millimeters up. And so yeah, nobody. I mean, we have embedded customers and virtualization customers, right? But do you think my embedded and virtualization customers want to pay my hours of, like, that is crazy? How, I mean, not only that I want to get paid, but how much time, like, imagine all this Gentoo, Debian, Arch Linux, and other unsuccessful, like Oracle's broken Linux and stuff, of the 1945 Linux distributions that exists, and always the time of, like, doesn't build, needs patch here. It is so hilarious. So it should work, something like that. And so we want probably override cross beam, although maybe we actually want, so what it actually builds is cross beam. So the actually dependency here is another. I had this grabbed in compiler. So the actual, all right, we want to not cross beam that. So theoretically that should be that dependency. I only wonder how this, so the last time I tried this, it didn't work. Because the reason we want to do that is because otherwise it's auto-magically, which I also don't support, right? I didn't like it 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I first encountered this. Yes, I know the Cargo and Rust people praise it like the best invention since sliced bread. This automatically cloud downloading of package crates, NPM and stuff. Say greetings, right? What could possibly go wrong? And because the issue is that because it's, first of all, I can't have it in the system. I can't patch it and have it in my system. No, it always needs to load it and like link time optimize and performance optimize heck out of it. But I can't also I cannot even easily patch it. Compiler which even did was it this? No, this. Alright, this is alright. I can't even easily patch it. Alright, it's probably relative to that one. So vendor, because it's downloading that, right? How should I patch it? I mean, the fix is so trivial, just adding that PowerPC Arch triplet that to the list. But due to all the auto magic and other and like it's not only one, like but we need to deal with 5 different fetch crossbeam variants here from crossbeam and crossbeam channel and all the queue and good stuff. And that's also crazy, right? And not only that, I never supported or endorsed this crazy microdependency and cloud cargo crate stuff. That is their cloud package management. But this automation and on-the-fly downloading is also what's additionally killing it, right? Because I can't even easily patch it. So we are here, like probably 2 levels down. And for what they have this vendor thing when it's mostly not used is also be so that is there, right? I didn't add that there. That is there. Let's just check the version here of that. I had checked this before lunch break, which is some channel cargo toml. Is that is even 5.5, which I think so. Rust C table ships with crossbeam channel 055, and yet because it's not used there, it's downloading. I mean, who makes such release table, release source management? And even if you agree that all the stuff is amazing, which, spoiler alert, it isn't, who would want a compiler? Imagine LLVM Clang GCC, the Linux kernel, like 5 or at times 7 different versions, because this crossbeams, it's for sure 5 different versions, right? With all the other stuff, easily 7, if not in total of all the crossbeam variants, even more. If people would do this in the Linux kernel, or the glibc, or LibreOffice, OpenOffice, Firefox, people would think they are crazy, right? To have not only a neural system, which is already crazy enough also for security, right? You fix security and bugs and features, and you have 7 different versions that still remain in use because hard-coded and pinned versions. But in one compiler, right, in the Rust C core compiler, Rust C, in the core compiler, they ship in all the infrastructure stuff a combination of stuff that it's easily using 5 different duplications, triplications, 5 times. It's hilarious. I mean, who would design software that is using one? And not one, I mean many of these 100 microdependencies, who would use different versions of all the 100 microdependencies in one freaking compiler infrastructure. And this is why, if you're wondering why I'm not using Rust for myself, because this is exactly why. I mean, just keeping it freaking compiling took already weeks of my lifetime. Sure, I get it for free and I should be grateful for them creating such an amazing compiler for me to just use royalty free. I mean, not that I would even want to use it, but so they forced me basically. I mean, yes, it's amazing that we get some PowerShell, better memory, safe language and stuff, but nothing in my time, I mean, beside me giving back big time for 25 years already, huge contributor in the open source scene, whole Linux distribution and all the variants, and contributed to everything from Linux kernel to glibc, even freaking GIMP, and so on. keeping this, I mean, very few people keep maintaining this for all the architectures. Heck, probably there's nearly no other distribution even supporting so many CPU variants and C libraries and stuff. Giving all this away for free and stuff like here on this channel. So it's not like I'm doing nothing. And never in my life, and that's the crazy stuff. So many people praise it. Yes, it's the best invention since sliced bread and borrow checker. But have you seen the borrow checker? But man, memory safety and the borrow checker, it's amazing stuff. Like, yeah, but have you seen the build infrastructure? Have you seen their cloud package? But the cloud package thing is amazing. It's auto downloading all the shit for you. It's like, yeah, it's auto downloading all the shit for me that freaking doesn't work, TM. And I have a hard time even freaking patching. So yeah. But if you don't agree with anything I said, you probably could agree that it is crazy that one freaking compiler, and only the compiler, right? I mean, only the compiler and standard libraries, the core thing. 580 micro-dependency and version variants. And then they are, for the most part, not even used. And many triplicates, no, duplicates, triplicates. This is so insane. And I don't understand how people cannot see this, right? And I agree that memory safety is important. I for 20 years, long before the Firefox people, for 20 years before I even entered university, I said memory safety. And in the year 2000, I already said memory safety, and more memory safety. And C sucks. It's not like the new kids of Rust hipster sphere saying this today. It's like, no, I said this for 20 freaking years, but this is simply not amazing. I mean, sure, it is an improvement over some things, but it's nonetheless totally not amazing. And like, and it is said, right? I mean, the core language, I also don't find the most readable and so on, but in my opinion, all the surrounding, not only this year, not only last year, not only the previous year, for a long time, and I don't even see this changing, right? I don't see this getting better because the Rust and Cargo people just are so much in love in their strange Frankenstein creation that they call a build system. Yeah. Why spend 5 minutes writing something by hand when you can spend 30 minutes automating great stuff? So when I tried this earlier with Rust, like in the morning, when I came in the office, which I didn't even live stream because, fun fact, I don't even live stream half of my failing attempts to work with open source here. So this morning it didn't work with crazy errors, which I didn't even know why it errored like that. So but that was Rust Analyzer. I have not tried this with Rust compiler proper yet. Cross-beam channel, so let's use this one. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Probably doesn't work because some of this is Rust and Cargo stuff. And usually you see me here hand patching stuff in blazing speed, but nothing throws sticks. This is cross-beam utils. It's still cross-beam. Also, earlier it also wants patch for the non-root package will be ignored. Specify paths at the working space. So apparently we can't override it. Okay, maybe the issue is also people tell me, but have you seen? But C++ error messages. Yes, I agree that sucks, and I even agree C++ is not amazing, although it was better than C 20 years ago already. But people tell me, but have you seen the C++ error messages yet? Yeah, have you seen the Rust error messages? Because the Rust people are like, Rust error messages are amazing. It's like, yeah. Specify patch at the workspace root compiler Rust C cargo, so they probably want it then. I mean, okay, the error messages, I mean, sure, fair enough, the error messages has something. Rust C, but wait a second, it was Rust C cargo. Why did it whine about this? I mean, maybe they want this, and we can try if it, maybe it doesn't inherit that stuff, or because the dependency is not used in that one. Oops. Oops. Shit. Let's do that in the bloody part of the Rust C. cargo here where they use it. Did we had cross-beam channel? Let's see. Oh, this is just more. So that is, or is it more Rossi? Oh no, this is still the same. So 2 down, and let's see what happens now. No, still doesn't work. Patch non-root package will be ignored. Specify patch at the workspace root. Fuck. Compiler cargo workspace. Okay, it says that is a R. So it wants. Oh wait, it wants it here. It's okay. Fair enough. It's. I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. So they want that here. So I'm not sure if, so that overrides, I mean, they probably want that here. Okay, here is actually a patch Rust Clippy. Okay, here they actually have multiple patches. Is this how this works with? No, this is not how it works with this vendor crits. Oh, we want RLS version cargo that we got rendered in this repository to ensure that the same exact version of cargo is used, both the patch cargo. Okay, so this is how you vendor whole repository. So patch UL, and the crazy thing is also that I have to do it like that, right? I would just want to have the sources. And the crazy thing is you can't even freaking modify the source because then you get checksum errors, right? So I now have T2, I didn't commit this yet, but I now have T2, a helper function that just SEDs the bloody checksums away from this bloody project, because otherwise if we vendor stuff, it still complains that the source checksum doesn't match anymore, right? And this is so developer unfriendly, right? So everything in this is an automatic download. I don't have to patch it. I need to patch and work around, configure, like all this extra work. When all that, I could have it installed, packaged and patched, but no, I need to make this gymnastics. And then if I patch it, this is so developer unfriendly that then it even complains, you have freaking modified, the checksum doesn't match anymore. It's like, yes, I modified it because it effing had a freaking bug, right? Or missing feature, or missing arch triplet. So Rust format. So this is how they actually one. I mean, the thing is, we probably can't generically patch override. Do they call this override? Overriding. We probably can't generically patch override it like that because there are freaking triplicate versions of this stuff, right? So I wonder if the reason I wanted to put this into the Rust-C workspace root proper is because I wanted to be on the safe side that, this is also funny that this is crates.io. Does it even, why is this, okay, I mean, sure, we can, interesting. Do we need that? Because actually here they have crates.io. That is crazy. Here they have crates.io. All right, because, okay, maybe probably that is a generic name of generic globally defined crates.io, and the other are like maybe not in crates.io and other explicit locations. So fair enough. But it's also, you try one thing, doesn't work. You try another thing, doesn't work. Put it there. And I wonder how much this breaks again, because in this crazy monster monolith of a project workspace, there are so many different freaking versions of this bloody crossbeam channel, right? I wonder then, where's even the document, like how to overload in over complex packages, crates, project workspaces, how even to overload like just one version, because I see it already coming that the next stuff will fail because no other modules there might want another version. Parse manifest couldn't input parse error. What the heck? What have I messed up? No. Not sure what am I missing? Someone see a typo? Failed to pass manifest. Could not pass input as toml. Toml pass error. Patch creates. Duplicate creates IO table. Oh, well, what the freaking heck? You can't have duplicate creates IO. You must be fucking. You must be effing. I mean, if we would browse kids in Germany, I could actually say fucking, like they even freaking did yesterday in the Tagesschau about the state of UK politics. But as we're international, I'm only allowed to say effing. So, what's the effing heck? Are you completely? Okay, so that means okay, we can. I see you. So okay, we add that then here. Fine. Total flexibility. Well, this still doesn't work because why should it? And this is my life with Rust and Cargo, right? It should be a reason. I mean, all the infrastructure as I outlined on all the videos sucks already, and just waste my time. It's a pure time waste of time. With nothing in my life ever have I wasted so much. I mean, except maybe debugging SG Octane stuff, reverse engineering. Patch crossbeam channel 055 was not used in this crate graph, and I think I must check that the patch package version and available features are compatible. And this is also the thing, right? I didn't have that. I had something else. But why can this bloody clever software, which some people say is the most amazing and best and stuff, which spoiler alert still it isn't, like why can it not tell me why it's not used? Crossbeam channel 055. So this is building Rust build. I'm even. But so the thing is also now it wants to build, and that is also why I added that to the non-workspace cargo toml, because just as I imagined, now it is trying to use. I mean, okay, fair enough. We only need this for this Rust building stage 0 compiler artifacts patch, but even here, crossbeam channel 055 was not used in this crate graph. Check that the patched package version and available features are compatible with the dependency requirements. If the patch has different version from what is logged in the cargo log file, run cargo update to use the new version. This may also occur with optional dependencies that is not enabled. And is it even so? It's so not only can this shit piece of garbage software not tell me, which some people is the most amazing and the best, which I still call piece of garbage, and low quality stuff here. So if this is amazing and people tell me about C++ error messages, why does this build system not tell me why it's not using that? Can it not tell me like this is not incompatible? This is not compatible, and so it leaves me doing the detective work when it surely parsed it. It parsed it. It checked all the requirements and dependencies, and it somehow determined it doesn't want to use it. And why can it not tell me why it freaking doesn't want to use it? So, and then compiling the core beams utils doesn't work here. So thank you very much. So that should be, and the crazy thing is it doesn't even tell you what it's building here, right? So what I resorted to, sure, you could astrace that and filter for cargo runs, but otherwise it's like, yeah, you run here, you hope your epic thread gripping Ryzen 7950X is not fast enough, and then you run in a second terminal, because that is probably not that one you grab for your cargo, because that is library test. It's the library test. I really lose my patience with this stuff. And then I should write an operating system. I should write a microcontroller. I mean, I have no idea what the Rust OS people go through. I mean, somehow they must love it, but this is a little bit. It's like, yeah, if I like to torture myself, then I would also love that. For me, this is pure torture. All I wanted is compile Rust for PowerPC, and all I get is this mess of nonsense. And welcome everyone. So yeah, all I wanted was overwrite this one crossbeam thing. By the way, it's probably that this crossbeams channel it was, right? That probably has a crossbeam, yeah, utils. I find this toml syntax also really strange, like dependency dot something. It's like, sure, I get it, but yeah. So I have no idea why. So it should build. Maybe I should actually check what. I probably should. Yeah, this is too fast and unreliable. This is slip lazy static. We probably should strace. It should probably be exec ve verbose stuff. Oh, thank you very much. Exec ve Python 3. Oh wait, I didn't run this with follow forks and stuff. This is abbreviated, thank you very much. Crossbeam, but it's great. So what was the, alright, I think it was maybe string lengths 2000, whatever. So the last, so that is exec ve, wait, this is Rust C. We want cargo. No, thank you very much. We want pure cargo. Here's some cargo. Cargo. Release manifest. Yeah. So that is that one here. That is Rust C. I slightly wonder though, wait a second, how does it run that? Is the workspace then not? How does it? Bin cargo, also sometimes videos still running, not like yesterday, bin cargo. Target, check config, dual, proc macros. Release features, max level, manifest path. So but I wonder that doesn't specify the workspace anymore, because It looks like it's running cargo build, target, PowerPC, check shit and stuff. J1 release features, manifest path, Rusty, or does it still, because it's a manifest, crazy stuff. I don't quite get why we can't override it there and why it doesn't work then. So as far as I've seen, the only cross-beam dependencies is Rusty expand, which, by the way, what exactly is that even? So it has here some path assignments. For example, here, I wonder if we can, I mean, but maybe there's a difference between if we can't. What was the and that is the thing, right? I should not sit here and investigate all this stuff and try and error for, it's a one-line, right? I waste here hours for freaking one-liner that should not even be hard-coded like that, right? So that is funny. Can we patch, what happens if we patch this here explicitly to a path of vendor cross beam chain, fingers crossed. So that is, oh wait, which even, so that is ... so that is their vendor. But what, again, why they have here rendered things when they don't even freaking use it, right? Are we so lucky that freaking, that is funny, that is funny. I always wondered why some freaking versions are 000, so, I mean, and that is also, is that a bug or a freaking feature, right? Because I would argue it clearly was version 055, right? And now it's saying that, I mean, it's actually indeed really building something. So why does it print version 000 for version 055, and why also in we don't want, no, we want obviously J32. So yeah, that's some progress, but it took way too long, right? I mean, sure, my brain gets filled, and that's also, I don't even want to waste my brain, my neurons, and what else is responsible there for saving. I don't want to waste my brain's memories to fill this stack with useless, mostly useless, Rust and cargo details, right? I mean, I'm surprised. So, I mean, sure, and that is the thing, right? Why do I live stream this? First of all, also to share here. I hope you learned something, and the reality, a life of a computer scientist. And hey, build complete. Could not compile crossing utils due to wait. Okay, this was too. So maybe it's still. So it's still using the wrong crossbeam from somewhere else. We need to patch another thing. And again, previously with C and C++, you would install one library patched into your system and you'd be done with that, right? But here with Rust, everything and their kitchen sink and their dog and their duck and so on, loading the stuff again behind your back. And it's also why I actually wanted to override this globally to like for this cross beams, utils or channels and stuff, use this freaking copy that freaking is patched to freaking worktm. But no, we can't just patch it. That would be too easy. I totally don't get it. Sure, leave me in the comments below, right? Share, like, and subscribe. Leave me in the comments below why you think. Explain it to me. Convince me that this is amazing, or if you agree that this is pure horseshit. Leave me in the comments as well. Did we astray that FO? I think it looks like that, right? Which even... But it's still compiler artifacts. So it's still... Why is it still using that? I don't get it. One step forward, one step back. I don't know, is it cached? Did it... Or maybe it's in the bloody cargo log? It only has compiler Rust, C code can cargo log things here. Yeah, except and that's again, I thought it works. Who knows what it rebuilt? It rebuilt some other stuff. Maybe it has this still cached somewhere. Here it built some cross-beam util 088, and here it's... But it's also cross... Or is... Ah, you know what? Maybe... we need to patch this vendor dependency here too. Which, I mean, they ship this freaking vendor folder, right? What was the freaking... Can't mix this stuff up if we... But this is also different. Why is this? Compiler Rust C. So the encoding here is somehow different dependencies. says optional so. The thing is, I can't even be sure that it's from this. You can't make this up, it's hilarious. So you have 0, 0, 10, 0, 8. And this is when I sometimes say, if you restore a vintage car, at least you know what you've done now. You waste hours poking around in this garbage of build system, of this dumpster fire of other people would burn it down to save some intermediate steps. And at the end of the day, you only wasted time, hour after hour, of people who had to over-engineer build systems that at the end it's so developer unfriendly that this literally wants to stop me doing IT. I mean, of all the other peak bugs of macOS and stuff, and Windows already since its creation being complete peak bugs, and we built IT systems that are pure nonsense. Of no sane person would like call this a solution. This are basically solutions in search of a problem, right? And the Rust people always like, but this old-fashioned distribution stuff sucks. It's like, no, this old-fashioned distribution stuff at least works. At least you have the freedom to install what you want and patch what you want. And here, you need to waste hours to YOLO the shit together to maybe build something. Crossbeam utils. So that was path, I think. Path equals like that or whatever. Not sure how. I mean, I slightly wonder that it had here. Probably will not work like that. I have the feeling, or does it, can we, wait a second, maybe we tried, did I save it already? I wonder if one can path here. It probably works too, shouldn't it? I would guess so. I hope I... So it's somehow still getting to, in its freaking dependency graph from whatever it freaking builds it from. Patch, oh wait, I think I mistyped this. Which have I know? Patch, yeah, what is it? Pass, of course. Why just, no, whatever. I mean, at least it warns about an unused. Okay, to load workspace member. Does it not have cuddled? Wait, why does it vendor crossbeam channel vendor? What? Vendor cross beam channel vendor? Ah, relative to that probably. Wait a second. fix file. That is of course relative here, so probably that. It still doesn't work. Alright, so I think it's using that now. But now I had this in the morning with Rusty. I had something similar like that. With Rust Analyzer. And that is the thing, right? You spend so much hours and at the end you're only frustrated of one stupidity after the next. When all you wanted was add one freaking key to one freaking already imperfect configuration table. And hour after hour, that doesn't work, that dependency resolves differently, and at the end you still sit there for one freaking line of code change, and this only makes me frustrated and want to either slam my head into the display, keyboard on my head, or throw all this shit out of a window, or actually freaking burn all of it. And then it certainly saves with quite some intermediate steps. It's ridiculous. And I also don't understand why they have this vendor crates in here when they are mostly not used, or if you use them, they fail. Here's also, so that is Crossbeam. Dash also as what's Crossbeam. Crossbeam is amazingly named concurrent programming kind of standard, not really standard, but well used and so much used that it's used everywhere. So basically relatively standard, primarily used concurrent programming library stuff for Rust. And thanks Dash for adding to insult to the injury of what I always say, that all this cross micro dependencies, not only are they too many, they are too crazy and certainly too stupidly named, because I said already just yesterday and recently years ago, just like Dash, like what the freaking heck is it even doing when you can't even like call it standard concurrency or threading or whatever. So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if this rendered stuff here is rendered incomplete or not configured correctly. But yeah, what should we, I mean, what I could try, I mean, now we have messed with it a little bit. Let's maybe build this again. What I have not yet tried, what we could try, maybe, not sure. We could try to vendor in all the other, so yeah, no, it's rebuilding quite some shit, because obviously this is super massive and memory borrowed check code, so it takes a while to epic thread rip through that. So not even that thread ripping. Not yet even that thread ripping. We could try one last thing. I mean, it's not the last thing, but I mean, one last thing. As I usually say, there are infinite possibilities, just that with Rust and Cargo, usually all the dozen of things I try don't work, right? And sure, you could blame, like, I have 25 years of lesser, like C, C++, and all the surrounding D, Java, Go, Swift, Xcode, and Visual Studio and stuff experience. So I have only 25 years of the wrong experience, so now I need to learn it's a superior, modern Rust and Cargo way. It's like, after a year of wasting my time, I would probably love it. But that is also the thing, right? That even with 25 years of experience, and usually you see me here, usually like YOLOing one and patching one thing after another, minute after minute, like 60 fixes a minute or 60 minutes fixes an hour or so. But with Rust and Cargo, usually after even 3 years working somewhat with that, like keeping this shit building for Firefox mostly in T2, that is our Linux distribution, that everything I try usually just fails, right? You try this, doesn't work. You try this, doesn't work. You try this, warning, don't use it. Try this, I will not use it, put it to your workspace. Try this, no, this fails too. Like, try this, but this dependency is still using the other ones. Like you really had me at... And then they wonder that other Linux distributions toolchain maintainer resign because, yeah, I mean, you certainly need quite some dedication and frustration, endurance that you even spend so much time. And that is on top of spending all my hard-earned money on the latest and greatest thread-ripping stuff to even waste all those electrons running here in circuit in the bloody CPU and dents for all this Rust and Cargo code. This is so this failed as expected. Welcome everyone. Dash also agrees that all the names are annoying. Thank you very much, Java, Maven, Grill, Momature, but so much better. Yeah, but and the thing is also nobody asked for that, right? This is somehow some elite and this superiority syndrome that they need to reinvent the wheel that was working, right? And sure, I understand the first thing of, hey, it automatically fetches it. Okay, fine. But when you look beyond this first facade of, hey, it automatically fetches it, then it only sucks, right? It rebuilds everything double, triple, and quadruple, if not at times 8 times or stuff. The micro dependencies suck big times in general. Patching this, good luck. Also, I mean, it's also rebuilding all this stuff, right? If I now would build this terminal activity, it would rebuild all these micro dependencies, right? How they can accept this as a sane solution? Sure, they always say, yeah, but optimization, and more optimizations. Like, yes, thank you very much. But there's also a limit of how much you link in, optimize, constant propagate, and what bloody library functions. So what I wanted to try, which of course I also have no idea if that will work, because usually everything I touch with Rust and Cargo falls apart and doesn't freaking work here. I wanted to see what happens if we cargo vendor 2. So what that does, what we learned yesterday, that is vendorizing all the stuff here. And now I wonder if it's using, first of all, so in vendor is the directory. So this vendor directory is what it ships with. 536 megabyte, no, thank you very much. Although we could double check, let's double check if it really ships with that. But I guess it ships with it. Maybe I shouldn't extracted that verbose. Sorry, some vendor. So it probably showed how many were that. Does someone remember how many crazy? Word count. Oh, that's not my day. Yeah, 580. I think it was 580. All right, maybe when I copied myself. So 579. So this is, it ships with all of this shit. So vendor. So the vendor 2 is what we just told. We just told Cargo to vendor in all this stuff for it. And that is a crazy thing, right? Why is in this vendor directory, or is it to manually vendor? Don't tell me that you need to manually vendor this. 417, so this is 415. So why do they pre-ship lots of stuff? I'm a little bit curious. Let's ls that. So that's not the same. So it is similar, but I mean, it's obviously less. So I wonder, why do they ship? I mean, it's quite similar. So this was, what it was even the freaking, I already, the names are so annoying. Crossbeam. But I also wonder how this works with this vendoring. So it was Crossbeam's channel, right? Because it clearly needed multiple versions over all the bloody workspace, so... So that is, for example, this is 054, right? Why did it render 054 when we already know that Rust C expand needs 055? That is so bizarre. And that is the recurring thing with all the Rust and Cargo stuff. Everything is bizarre to me. I wanted to. I mean, I looked into that already years before it was. I mean, you know me, even before this YouTube channel. I always was reading and obviously with my history with C++ and exact code. I looked into that earlier and I watched that grow for years even before the YouTube channel. And then I saw Firefox shipping it and stuff. And each year I wondered more like, how should you work this? How should you use this on a large scale? It does already not scale for me. I mean, all the other 4,000 plus packages in T2 I keep somewhat mostly working. Certainly the toolchain like GCC, glibc, LLVM, Clang, Linux kernel stuff. But nothing gives me so much trouble than this bloody Rust infrastructure and ecosystem. It's pure insanity. But here it has actually, so it also rendered stuff multiple times. So why did it render Adler multiple times, but not this bloody Crossbeam stuff, which we already know it needs another version? This is so bizarre. Let's try. So this should be unmodified, right? So this should fail the same way it failed before, and let's try this crates.io replace with rendered sources. Actually, we could actually check. So that is failing as we knew already from the beginning from the live stream. Not making this ship Rust build errors up. Which again, and fixing that, right? We fixed this already yesterday. We know which one single line of freaking arch triplet we need to put into this bloody no atomic table, right? So let's see what happens if we config toml. If we source crates.io replace with rendered sources in directory. So render is what was there. I also wonder if they, because I wonder why they even ship this rendered sources when they are mostly not used. Let's grab for rendered sources. Do they use it somewhere in their freaking? So there is. Okay, so this is maybe. No, this is cargo source. No, this is just the implementation of that. So I don't know if this is entirely unused. I mean, I could try to delete that. There is some rendered sources, so. Wait, this is test suite. So vendor 2 is stuff I just Actually, here is Bootstrap, so they use it indeed in source Bootstrap. Here is some use rendered sources, so this is the Bootstrap shit we run. Do you need to enable that or what? Provide all methods required to build Rust. Use rendered sources frozen. Check that rendering is configured properly, keeps consistent with the current. Check in if sudo user in OS environment and not self-used. Looks like you're trying to run this command as root, and so in order to preserve your home, this will now use rendered sources by default. Rendered self-use rendered sources. Do they have build get build use rendered sources? Build get tunnel vendor? Use log deps? Rust build provide all the methods. Okay, this is, I think, the search wrapped. Vendor, build vendor, enable use of vendor Rust crates. Force cargo log to be up to date. So you had to enable that if you wanted to. But let's see what happens. Which even was it config tunnel? Indicate whether the rendered sources are used for Rust dependencies or not. So why is this not if they ship shit? Why? What even is the freaking... So we also have like tools. Do they have... So local Rust. Okay, it probably should be a single option. And let's see if it really builds with that render. Do we have that in here? The more you debug, the more crazy Rust options you find. It sounds like it should be just vendor. So let's see what it does. Maybe it fixes it. It's at least using the rendered sources. So, oh no, it doesn't. Vendor is not recognized. Thank you very much. More. Why does it... Oh, is it maybe enable vendor? Oh, maybe enable. We probably can clean that. We probably built in tempfs. And we only have 64 gigs of memory. And you will not believe how fast you fill 64 gigs of tempfs memory with tempfs builds. Okay, so we patch the shit. So far, so good. Rusty vendor, but this is also crazy. So I have already code for that. That's exactly what I mean with a bloody checksum. And now we need to patch this bloody checksum shit out of there, for which I have already a nice function. Let's so this function, because they're globally available, so that we can, let's reuse it a little bit nicer, so that we cargo clear checksum. And then for yes, that should work, shouldn't it? Was it like that? For file do done if ever that has spaces. SED is this bloody file. Check them away. I keep the first, it complains if that is empty, so this complex regular expression, I hacked this up already last night on the sofa at home. Read only file, oh, come on. What read? I probably have that open somewhere like here. So then let's, because we SED that already here. So cargo clear check. Did we call this like that? What did you even name this? I mean, what is check? Should we abbreviate that? Or is it annoying? And then you wonder. Of all of this. And wish us luck. That did not yet. Vendor is. All right. Ah, no, I'm so stupid. Of course, the checksum is here in cargo something. Shit, no, I hadn't committed that yet. What was the name? Cargo checksum. Let's make that the direction. What's his name? I mean, for now, actually, not to have to retype all this stuff, we could actually let's leave it like that. You just need, I mean, you normally shouldn't need to use that. ST2 is doing it for you. So that's probably like that. Oops. And I still find it silly that we need to do that. But as I said in another video, maybe I should be thankful, and in some years the whole Linux distribution stuff settles, so that from the 1945 Linux distributions, only very few errors. A checksum for CC on what? Source registry create supports. This log file is great. Well, maybe we messed up the log file. It's ORCD, which theoretically I would otherwise just disable that in cargo. But that is the silly thing. We need to modify some details, and then you even need to freaking fight with the bloody checksums. How is that developer friendly? And this is kind of like sources should be made for developers to work with, not like fight developers to effing definitely read only, not freaking modify this shit. But certainly there is super nice, I mean, patching and whatever function of cargo. So this was here in CC. So file, cargo log, cargo tunnel. So what? And that is the thing, right? You think you're finally 90%, and you think you're finally done with patching this bloody shit, but even then, freaking new nonsense appears. Does this look corrupt? Files, cargo log. Package, actually, yeah, that is not correct, I think. Files. So it should still have this stupid, or should it? Yeah, it should still have package, at least it is a sort. Why does it not have somehow this is not. I thought I tested that last night. Looks like my SED expression is not optimal. No, wait, there is package in there. Or is it? Package 2 files, cargo, log. So the crazy thing is that this stuff is also checking the bloody checksums with freaking package or what? This is so hilarious. Like why? Why? Like basically everything is like each step is why make it so complicated? Why make it so difficult? Why make it so developer unfriendly? You know, they say developers, and like I'm sitting here like, why? I only wanted to build it freaking. I mean, maybe we should check if it builds with this vendor sources. Maybe that anyway is not much used and doesn't build like that. Let's maybe do that manually for a test. Ah, shit. Deleted that well. Was already. So let's see what everything we need to modify here. So that was which file? librs. So it obviously doesn't scale to manually. Oops. Oh, shit. What? Don't tell me this. Oh, right, with autosave. Darn it. Because I wonder, does it still... Okay, that is also to expected. So, because I wonder if it still will complain about this package checksum. So that was no atomic. I probably should. Where is that even now? So much to editing. Shit. And we can basically just delete here hundreds of. Probably deleted over the bloody river. I mean, this checksum thing could probably still happen at any other step. Do we build? Oh, we also built 32-ish. Yeah, I expected that already. So that is the other CC thing there. Because of course they have that twice, right? Why would you have a micro dependency once? Probably still have some other no atomic things there in render. I mean, it starts to build, and it starts also to use this rendered sources. I'm really curious how it works. So yes, it's a lot of versions. I'm not sure if it really uses everything rendered, because the rendered sources usually look 000, but also we don't even have all rendered sources, right? Or maybe we have, at least when we manually have run this rendered thing, we didn't have all of them in there. Does that really work? Are we only one SED expression away from building this shit with patches? And again, all of this stuff is only also research, attention to detail and dedication is only required of wasting hours of our time on the supermassive black hole that is this Rust cargo ecosystem, because we wanted to patch, how dare you, wanted to patch a file or two, right? We only wanted to patch like 3 freaking files of the bloody atomic lists, right? That is all we wanted to do. Which we also only wanted to do because we wanted to freaking cross-compile and bootstrap cargo, right? Otherwise, we previously did that until we realized this cross-compilation clean bootstrap on the same architecture to the same architecture didn't work, like fake cross-compiling it due to their config toml not allowing different LVM configurations. And I would even like, for years I was fine of building not with T2 Linux, but their unknown Linux, like all the 1940, by the way, probably a pretty big move from Windows and Microsoft, right? Apple and Microsoft. And it's like unknown Linux, right? As if all the 1945 Linux versions are all unknown. I didn't really care really much about this. And the only reason, it's not our ego that we want T2, like Rust, C, T2, GNU Linux. We only did this because we actually found bootstrapping on a different glibc, that its stuff wouldn't link with glibc symbols and obviously LVM Clang configuration. If you have not exactly the same, which usually you don't have. So only dare us building the shit from source ourselves, bootstrapping that for all the nearly 26 supporting architectures we do. How dare we want to compile this stuff, right? To my surprise, it does here some Rust-C middle build macros, extended and stuff. It actually looks like it actually could freaking work, TM. We might only be one SED away from actually finally solving this mystery puzzle. It's like, yeah, I mean, I tried the last month already to be much more calm and professional. And even with this videos probably mostly was, I mean, I'm not even showing my true frustration how not only with Apple's peak bugs and obviously Microsoft's decade of security issues, speaking about memory safe languages and stuff, the even more peak bugs, hashtag peak bugs, that is Microsoft Windows. But here people are shaping the future of computing with such, like, imagine, like if this is, to set an example, and that is a future of computer languages and stuff, like I don't even enjoy working in this anymore, right? Where I need to spend weeks, probably in total, like over the last 3 years, it wouldn't surprise me if I spent, like donated, basically to my open source ambitions here, a whole month over the course of 3 years, just on properly or full-featured and cross-compiling and so on, supporting could not compile cast main due to, it's like, on the, okay, this is interesting. I mean, so it fully built. This should not really necessarily happen. We probably can YOLO that, but I mean, it fully built and then didn't link. I saw that also once. So we can probably quirk that with libatomic. It should probably, although it sounds similar, it should not really be related to our no atomic stuff, because that otherwise didn't build, although there might still be other no atomic things in there. Let's maybe quickly check if we can plaster over that was linking that to Atomic. Did I not already had that, by the way? But yeah, leave in the comments below. Probably there will be, I mean, I would be happy if Rust fans and developers and friends and family watch this video and are annoyed and pissed and whatnot, and leave in the comments below how you disagree with me and how everything is amazing, and maybe teach me a thing or two, or maybe a dozen, because obviously after 3 years working somewhat with this stuff, I'm still like reading the effing manual of all those cargo features and bugs and stuff. Hey, successfully built. Yay! Let's take out the gin, get drunk, throw a party. We're not fully done though yet, obviously due. I'm only wondering if actually we have here already 486 or so interesting. Didn't even expect that really. Let's arch PowerPC that too. We still need to SED. So yeah, we learned some stuff, including how to that it even have, like, it's not using this bloody vendor crates that they ship. You need to manually request that. Amazing. Like exactly what you want. Right? You download the freaking release table. It's not using 90% of this effing sources in there unless you enable freaking vendors like do. Obviously, I mean, who bootstraps Rust from sources, right? Obviously, Rust up the shit. Or don't. I need coffee though. After all this, I probably certainly deserve coffee. So yeah, let's get this SED expression somewhat working. I thought it worked. So the SED expression, as far as I am aware, I thought it worked for. By the way, theoretically, we do I have a PowerPC 64 build because. Is that fully done, like clean? Yeah, whatever. I only wanted to know. Ah, shit. Because we alter the arch target. Arch because we want, do we have only our PowerPC? We probably better want to use that here because that also reflects when we actually build PowerPC 64, but we altered that to a 32-bit default system default, so that is of course better. And similarly, I think we can make the other x86 option there better too. Not checking for this T2 option, but we probably can check Arch machines, so that should work. Also best with a typo. The same, and then we don't need this exotic option, but theoretically, even I wonder if that probably, because theoretically it is 3486. Let's check if that works. I think it should work like that. Yep, so making that also better for another win here. I mean, very theoretically, we could add this to one expression, but like that, yeah, in my opinion, readability and stuff trumps saving there some characters. I need to pick up a coffee. But as an added bonus, at least Rust then may work, I mean, depending on how complete these rendered sources are, which maybe they are complete, maybe not, depending on the release quality of the Rust release maintenance people and CI infrastructure, it could change. I mean, I could actually test that this Rust C, if you build over satellite internet or cellular stuff, you save tons of downloads in T2. And also can work off-grid, right, if you're disconnected for traveling and plane and stuff and off-grid given reason. Which is another grief of this Rust and Cargo cloud package infrastructure stuff. So, let's try to find the last SED expression thing here. Cargo clear checksum. Vendor CC. Also, it is funny, right? We previously could SED other main Rust compiler source files, but the bloody dependencies, they checksum check, but not the Rust C main parts. So this will of course still not build. Maybe I should actually, you know what I could do to better test that? We could actually, is it even the so like copy. Let's make a copy or not. Let's call it oric for. Oh, it doesn't really matter much. So what else was going on while I made a coffee and someone's new here? What are we doing? We're freaking building a awesome Linux distribution. Some of my friends say the best, and some of my customers and friends say it's the best. But maybe they are biased, or they just want a freaking working, unpatched and insane Linux distribution. That is T2 Linux. Let's wait. I also built the wrong thing. Why does nobody say that I built the wrong thing? As another added bonus of all this waste, I mean, also there was a microphone cable. I'm sorry if this scratched for your headphone users. The only other win-win of all those nonsense is that, was that for a directory? What? That should work like that, shouldn't it? Because I disabled building additional tools, like Clippy and Rust4Mart, which we should package individually, we save the build time. In my opinion, they should, if you want that stuff, you should explicitly install that separately. I still need to package that so that we save a little bit of build time if you usually just want Rust C for the base Firefox build. Then you guys now just get that. So let's see. So because files change log, and then does this not look right? Why does this package? Okay, that looks correct, I would say. So this is just what we SED'd here. So CC, what is with this? Checksum cargo. Here is there something? Here is indeed, is this substituted twice? Why is here the package thing away? Or is it has that only cargo? CC cargo checksum. The same thing happened here. Which, by the way, I also really hate this bloody checksum files. Not only because they are there and they are used, but also that you can patch them so shittily. I had the same problem already in Firefox. And it would be so much thinner if, sure, they're auto-generated and stuff, but can this auto-generator of JSON generator not freaking output a bloody new line after each freaking line? Because now it's one freaking long line, right? So you can't even with normal line-based patches, sure there are not line-based patches, which of course nobody uses, but at least not for source files, but you can't even freaking nicely so yeah, we had here this USB incident. I should of course not, I hope it wasn't as long as callback suppressed. Yeah. Probably today catch it. I hope it wasn't longer than a minute or two. AM5 USB, what should I say? Probably as media. Crazy stuff. So patching the shit. Download mirror RS, let's extract it again. The way say just a new version while we work on it with overlock. Yeah, it's also the wrong, but whatever. 164.29. Also will soon be a new Rust release. Render CC? Was it render CC? Was it not? So many files, which even was it? I thought it was. Did it really render CC? Apparently it really is. So somehow the substitution doesn't work. Why would it not? Or is it really substituted twice? Let's test that. It is substituted twice. Because I overlooked that. But maybe I should check that we don't break it. Alright, maybe. You know what, we can probably fix that. Can we? Anyway, it's not really that important. Because I overlooked that this is render CC, so actually that is freaking enough. I thought it's in I thought it's in Rust compiler thing. That is why we substitute the twice set, of course. Problem solved. But nobody found that, right? Or did someone find that already? What you're saying of flashbang. So then we probably, hopefully, solved that crazy stuff. Yeah, but I was often joking in independent things when stuff was not amazing and or really crazy at Apple, Microsoft, and so on, Google. Like I want the stuff that the Google managers are. So is that one? No. That is one, but not the one. That one? That one. I want the stuff that this Google managers are smoking, or Elon Musk, or so, or Apple and Microsoft. I don't know. I'm not impressed by the entirety of all these findings. And it's not one thing, it's not one tiny thing, right? It's like dozens of accumulating crazy developer unfriendly techniques and setups and so on and so forth. The only win-win of all my wasted hours of this shit is improving, I mean, always, of course, improving the only distribution I would use myself, that is T2, and saving a little bit of build time. I will probably never get it back because we probably spent a little bit less time of building a handful of less tools. Yeah. What did I delete? No, what is... Oh, this is, yeah. It's basically it for this video. It was another probably hour or two. I have high hopes that this builds now. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and as much as I give here in build recipes and automation of Linux from scratch, in the context of supporting the most architectures of Linux distributions, probably overtaking Debian at that time, and certainly more up to date and cross-compiling. Would be amazing if you Patreon, GitHub sponsor, YouTube membership, or super chat or things. Have a good day or night, and I hope to see you soon for more hacking and hardware build things coming every day. See you next time. Oh, I clicked recording, darn it. But usually this causes dropouts. So maybe this APU is more efficient. Oops. I hate when I accidentally hits the record button. So yeah, see you then.